I'm gonna listen and understand the rhythm. And anytime you listen to any song, you can start figuring out the rhythm. You can start counting it. So when you're listening to the song and you hear it go by, when you hear the drums, you wanna listen for the snare, because the snare is always gonna be on 2 and 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, that's the snare. The kick drum is always gonna be on 1 and 3. So the kick drum is your 1 or your 3, and the snare is your 2 or your 4. So you can figure out where you are, and the chords are typically changing. Typically on the 1, they're going to a new chord, or on the 3, they're going to a new chord. And there's instances where you play, you know, chords, there's 1 chord per beat in like a walk down instance or something like that. But in most instances, you'll be able to identify that the chord changes on the 1 or the 3, and you can hear it with the drums. So if you listen to the drums, let's get the backing track going. And if it's a song you never heard before, you really need to figure out the time signature first. That's the first thing you need to do. And you can kind of just nod your head to it, right? And get the feel for it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And if you're having trouble, listen for the kick and the snare. Kick, snare, kick, snare, kick, snare, kick, snare, kick, snare. And then when you're halfway through it, you could start it over to try and find out where you are within that chord progression. But when you're listening with drums, there should be drum fills. And then those drum fills bring you back to the 1, the first chord. Now you're on your C sharp minor, you're on your D, and you're back to your A again. 1, A, C sharp minor, D, A. And it's all just 1, 2, 3, 4, and after that 4, the chord's changing. And then the same thing, get your guitar in your hands, throw an overdrive pedal on, and start finding this. So you need to find an A note, you need to find a C sharp minor and a D. So that's A. This is your 1, you're starting your chord progression. C sharp minor, D, and as you start playing the 1 over these, you're gonna start connecting your guitar to the chords, and it's really about the rhythm. Figure out the rhythm, and then you'll be able to hear the chords changing. And that's the #1 thing about this, is just being able to count the rhythm. And as you can count the rhythm, you're gonna start being able to figure it out too. You can try and strum it, right? And it's all connected. And if you want a little more advanced lesson on soloing with chord tones, you can watch this lesson right here.